Hey, podcast listeners. Thank you for joining us today. I'm here today with Angela and Alex. How are you guys doing?
Awesome.
Good, good. So today we are introducing our guest co-host, Alex Iacovelli. She works for 84 Lumber. She's a WBE market manager. She is going to be popping on occasionally, maybe when one of us can't make it. But a lot of times it's going to be because we want her perspective on her generation of ideas and forward thinking that they have. We love learning from Alex. So we hope that you do too. So Alex is with us today. Today we are going to talk about organizations. The organizations that we love and we're a part of, and this is just a very small list. Keep in mind, if we missed you, I'm sorry. We only have 20 minutes. So these are just some of the things that we have been involved with. We've been able to support, we've been able to get support from, and we're really proud to know these folks. This is not an extensive list of all the things that are out there because there's so many great people doing great things. So we want to highlight some of the best podcasts we've had on the show. One of them is Jennifer Wilkinson with NCCER, Deb Bradley with, she's actually the Northeastern Director for Women Construction Owners and Executives. I'm happy to say that I'm on the board in 2024. Really excited about that opportunity. And just lifting up women construction owners and executives. It seems like it's a very small pool of folks, and being able to be a part of that and help build that organization makes me happy. And a lot of women are gaining a lot of knowledge from that. So let's just start off. I'm going to let Angela start off and talk about some of the organizations that are really important to her and that she's involved in.
Sure. Well, these are organizations that we're all involved in.
Yes.
And actually most of these I think have been on our podcast. So and the first one I'll start with is Girl Up Greenville. Got to say that right. And we had Kim and Jessica on, and they are doing wonderful things in our area in the upstate of South Carolina to help the underrepresented or females population here. And I just can't say great enough things. You need to go find them and follow them and even support them. I'll share one more, and that would be Perla DeLuca, and she has her own construction company, and she started a school, Iowa School of Construction, and she is doing some awesome work too. And I think it's only about 2 years old, right, Christy?
Yeah, they're doing very well. They've had several graduates already.
Yeah, I mean, that's just so two great female-run organizations doing awesome things for females.
Yes. And for our workforce.
Yes, exactly, for our workforce. Yep.
Anytime we're building up folks, it's going to help our workforce, right?
Oh, exactly.
Alex, name a few of the organizations that you love.
Yeah, I have way too many to list, like you said, in 20 minutes. But a few of my favorites that we're all involved in are, of course, Habitat for Humanity. They're amazing all over the country and just do such great work for everybody. But I've also had the privilege of being on the Women Build Committee in our area 2 years in a row, which has just been really special to me.
Oh, that is special.
And then, of course, the Women's Builders Council. I think Renee Sachs has been on podcast before. We love her. And, of course, that whole organization, every time I go to any of their events, like just the community there is so amazing and uplifting. And, of course, Christi would never tell you, but she's won an award through them. Another great one for community is NAWIC, the National Association of Women in Construction. I think we had Jennifer Morales here, and we love her too. But that organization specifically is so warm and inviting, and I feel like everywhere across the country that we go, those women just are there to help lift each other up, and it's a great group.
Yeah, it is a great organization for making you feel like you're not alone on an island, right?
Yep.
I am happy to be able to mention a few others. Brian Gallagher with Groundbreak Carolinas. They have a publication, and Dan Polstra and Joan, I'll let you
Cross.
pronounce. Okay, Kraus. I was
Cross.
going to let
Yeah.
you pronounce her last name. All three of those folks are doing some great things with their publication, just shouting out for our industry, all the things that we're struggling with, all the things that are great going on, all the people who are making an impact. They even have an awards every year, and Angela and I got to win one of their groundbreak awards. We got this little statue of a shovel, and really
That's awesome.
excited. Yes, really excited to have that. Just that company who really sees the need for supporting women, and those are not all women, which I love that about Brian Gallagher and Dan Polstra. They
Yeah.
really do care about women understanding the construction industry and wanting to get involved. And then Mike, I can't say enough about Mike, president of Associated Builders and Contractors. You have to look up ABC. I get to be on the executive board this year for ABC as a secretary in the Carolinas, but I'm nationally involved with IDM. I'm on that committee for inclusion, diversity, and merit. And I typically don't sit in a seat that I don't believe in the goals and the aspirations and the inspiration that comes from the organization. So really proud to be a part of ABC because they are making a big difference in our industry and our workforce problem. They're addressing that. They are doing a lot of training. So excited about ABC as well. I think we have mentioned a lot of these that we wanted to talk about today. Let's talk a little bit. I'd love to hear from Alex because she is not my age. What these organizations mean to you personally and professionally, like not one in particular, just how it affects your business position or how it affects you personally. Would love to hear the addition that makes for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think joining organizations like these is probably one of the most valuable things you can do in your career, honestly. The amount of growth personally and professionally that's come from, joining committees in these organizations has just been like, I can't even describe. I think everybody's there with a common goal, right? Everybody's there for the same reason. Everybody's there to help each other, support each other, and help their business and support their business and all of those things. So it can be a really good place to find support and mentorship. Like I know we talk a lot about
Yes.
mentorship. It's a really great place to find things like that. Also, of course, an amazing way to make connections and build relationships and do business with people that you have a personal relationship with, which in my opinion is the best way to do it. I'd rather do business with my friend any day than some stranger. So
Yes. Good point there. How about you, Angela? I know you've been involved in many organizations over the years, and just love to hear your insight on it. I just started being involved in organizations 3 years ago. So I think your extensive background might be really beneficial to our
Yeah,
listeners.
I've kind of lessened mine later in life. It was early on. I go. First, before I answer that question, I just want to mention a couple other organizations
Oh,
that
okay.
we love.
Yeah, for
And that
sure.
would be Tanya Hicks. She can do anything. She's out of Atlanta. She has also been on our podcast. She is awesome.
Yes.
And there is Peter with AGC, Association of General Contractors. And they recently launched with Procore Project Engage, which is such a cool leadership platform for construction folks. And lastly, there is Crew Collab that we had Kate and Amanda and Hayden
Yes.
on our podcast from that nonprofit that is doing wonderful things for the skilled trades. And so you asked me the question about like, how's it impacted me? I loved Alex's questions, and how I would like to respond is like what came from like examples of what she shared. Like, so one of the, I've sat on boards and everything, and I would just suggest to everyone, do exactly what Christi said. You have to you have to feel committed and inspired and passionate and driven behind whatever it is that they're pushing. I mean,
Right.
you can't do it unless that. And you have to give 100. That was my thing too. If I couldn't give 110% of myself, I didn't need to be on that board or participate in that organization. And of course, if you're in an organization, you need to get involved. You need to get
Right.
on a committee. And I mean, I have been so grateful because of all the friendships I've made. And actually, out of one of them, and I'll just mention their name here, it's Crew Network. I actually spawned off of that to other groups that I'm now like, we call ourselves the BA Women, and it's 5 of us that we get together for lunch at least 5 times a year. And we do nothing but just share and help each other. And I know I
Yeah.
can call these women and they would help me. I could text them and reach out to them and they would do anything for me. And then Rachel and I started the Women Construction Forum out of that group because we met and we saw a need and we addressed
Yes.
it. And so
Love that group.
so many things can come from, and all of the things that Alex said, I have learned so much. I have gained so many connections. I have made so many friendships. I mean, there's some that I've known for 30 years and I still talk to today. Of course, some of them are retired and drinking, coladas on the beach.
Nice.
Pina coladas on the beach. But it's just, it's something that you can feel good about and contribute to, but then you can also know when you need to end it too. So.
Yeah, that is the tough part. And I'm going to share that a little bit since I started 3 years ago. And I really, I handle a lot of different areas in the United States. So I really didn't know where to start. So honestly, I dove into a lot of things because I took this role in 2020. So I could be in a lot of states in one day. So that was cool because virtually that was possible. But it is really important for you to find what's the best. And one of the things that I make really clear with our team is it's got to be a good ROI for me personally. It has to be a good ROI for our department, and it has to be a good ROI for our company. And if it doesn't fit all 3 of those, that's how we started dwindling our participation down as far as my department goes. Me personally, I'm all about what I said earlier. I have to truly, if I feel like I want to be a cheerleader for you, that's the place for me. And Women Construction Forum is, it's a cheerleading place. Skilled Trades Alliance, which I forgot to mention earlier. We are a group of people. Al Bolding's been on our podcast, and so has Adam Hoots. I'm on that board. We're a group of people just wanting to pull people together to make the workforce better.
I think they all have been on her.
I think every one of them have been on. Jennifer's been on too. I forgot about that. Yeah. The only person we haven't had on is Mary Allison. We need to have her on. She's great at HR stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's really important that you feel on the inside and the outside that this is an organization that you can support before you decide I'm going to put 110% effort in. And then I'm just going to tell you from experience, jumping into a whole bunch of them at once. As long as it's COVID and you can be on virtually all the time is great. But if you can't just be virtual and you have to be in person and you start working in a committee or a board, you really do need to devote, real time to where you've chosen to be a cheerleader and to be the best that you can be for the organization so that you can do a great job, or you feel dissatisfied or feel like you haven't done a good enough job. So just be careful as women. I think we're notorious for taking on more than we can handle because we think we can. And then we realize that we've fallen short because, our hands are in too many things. Just be conscious of that. I wish somebody had told me that 3 years ago. I think Angela tried to tell me and I wasn't listening very well, but I did listen. That's how we started pulling some things out. But I think it's important.
One thing I want to add, Christi, and I think you'll add to this, is the thing I got when I did that too. We've all done that, gotten too involved. I started to learn to ask, because I think us women, we say yes before we ask. What is involved?
Good point.
How much do you need to meet? What do you expect of me? What do you, knowing all of this helps you prioritize. And along with, I agree so much, the ROI for yourself, your company, and your department really matters.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That's very true. I'm so good at that now.
you're an expert.
Okay, like, I would like to, but how often are we gonna meet, and what do you need from me,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
if you need me to spend a ton of time on the back end working on paperwork, I'm probably not gonna have enough time to be good, and it's okay to say no,
Yep.
and this is how I say
They
no.
respect you more, I think,
I
right?
like to do things with my whole heart, and if I can't, I feel like I'm not gonna do a good job for you. That's how I say no, and
That's how I say it
it's
too.
much easier. Like, if my whole heart can't be involved, I'm not gonna do a great job for you, and it's okay, to be able to say that because people do admire that because they're asking
Mhm.
you because they do need your help. So if you tell them yes, and then you can't help,
It's
that really
worse.
puts that person in a bind. Yeah,
Mhm.
so keep that in mind. I hope
I
you
always say if I can't I always say I can't if I can't give 110% of myself, then I don't feel like I can do this. I have used that every time, even
Yeah,
when I've left a board,
yeah,
or a committee or an organization.
right, right. Yeah, for sure. I think it's important for all of you to know that. Some of you've been on committees, some of you've never been on a committee. And how do you get on a committee? I think Alex can probably speak to that
Mhm.
pretty easily. She not long ago was like, "What? Why do I want to be on a committee? What am I going to do on a committee?" So maybe share a little bit, Alex, about how you went about it, and tell us how easy it was compared to what it was in your head, because I remember us talking about that some.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you get into networking for the first time, unless you are just like the most outgoing person ever, it can be pretty intimidating. At least it was for me. I am not the most outgoing person ever. Um, but the reality is, like I said before, everybody's there for the same reason, to like help each other and to help themselves, right? And um like these organizations need your help, and they want your help, and they want your input, and they want your perspective and all of those things. So really it's just about asking, right?
Mhm.
I tend to go to, usually there's a membership director who's going to have all the information you need about that organization. um, I think, like you said, Christy, with making sure the ROI is good for everybody, I think one of my go-to questions is, what would be the best committee, um like what committee do you guys need help with the most that would also be beneficial for
Hmm.
my company, right? So that I make sure that I'm
Yeah.
adding value where this organization needs it. Because if they've already got 100 people on a committee, they don't
Yeah.
need 101.
Yeah. Good point. Very good point.
Can I chime in?
Yeah.
So what I would do was, and I encourage others to do this too, is ask someone, a peer that's on that committee or in that organization, tell them you're interested or ask questions about it and then tell them you're interested. That's how I would do it. And
Mhm.
or I would have
Easy.
me, yeah, yeah. And then they would share because they sit on the board or committee and
Mhm.
goes from there.
Yes. And that is the best. That's how I did it too. What is this? Will you tell me more about what you do? And then, oh, that might be interesting to me. And the
Yeah.
next thing you know, they're like, well, would you like to be on the committee?
I mean,
So,
normally they have no clue that you're out there,
right. They
you
don't know
know?
you're interested.
No,
Right.
no,
Yeah.
no. I mean, of course, Alex's way is great too. Just get in touch
It
with
is.
them and tell
Yeah.
them.
I want to be
That's
on.
the bold way to do
It
it.
is. I
I
love
did
it.
it the indirect way.
I love it though.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're in a role, and Alex does serve in a role where it's required of us,
Yeah,
right, to
yeah,
be involved in organizations. So it's okay to be a little bold in that situation.
yeah.
So please feel free to do that. When you get to where I'm at, where I'm trying to juggle all the things, bold would not be something I want to be, because I want to learn as much as I can learn about an organization before I decide I want to take it on. And to be honest, I seem to overcommit. So I have to be super careful about that. And I have really good friends. Angela and Alex are two of them that tell me, when are you going to do that? I was going to run for lieutenant governor Or no, I just had an aspiration in my head one day. It really wasn't I was going to run, but I had an aspiration. Oh, I would love to be lieutenant governor to so and so. And Angela looked at me like, and when are you going to do that? So I was like, oh, good point. So you need friends like that in your life too. I know we're talking about organizations today, but this is where we meet our friends and those people that are holding us accountable too. So thank you for sharing today. And I hope you all enjoyed us talking about the organizations that mean a lot to us.
Yes.
Just some of them. I hope that all of you organizations that we did mention appreciate the shout out. We are so proud to be involved with your organizations and what you're doing for the organization and what you're doing for women all over the country, not just in construction, but in many other aspects of careers and roles. And thank you all for being on and listening to us today. And we will see you next Monday.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.